Good morning, it's the 17th of March, just after 7 a.m, and I've sent the email out and this is the video to go with it. So for new viewers, just the layout, 10-minute here, 30-minute chart below that, 2-hour chart and the daily chart, just so you know what I'm looking at here. So for today, if I just expand the 30-minute chart, let's move that across. Basically, I'm expecting a bullish day today, by the dip, really, after the news yesterday. Obviously, we rallied on the Fed news at 6 o'clock last night, and I expect follow-through buying today, really. I expect that we will probably break 6,200 and make it stick this time. Obviously, we've tried a few times and dropped off of it. However, we do have at 6,226 and 6,228 a couple of daily resistance levels, so the bulls will just need to break that level. However, I think they will, and if they do, then we are looking at a push up towards the 6,300 area, probably that 6,350 that I mentioned last week. So basically, by the dips, so where would it dip to? Well, for me, the most obvious place is probably the daily pivot at around 6,170, 6,168, something like that. We also have the 200 EMA on the 30-minute, which is rising, obviously, and is currently at 6,160. So if we drop later on today, that might well have moved up a little bit towards 6,170. So fairly simple plan, really. I'm expecting an initial rise up towards that 6,228, dip back towards the pivot, 6,170, and then a rally for the rest of the day. So, so that's the plan, and it certainly looks like that 6,350 is on the cards now, really. The bulls have tried many times to break 6,200, and I expect they probably will today. So just looking at some bigger time frames, 2-hour chart, fairly bullish also, as you would expect. We got our dip yesterday down towards the moving average and the coral line there, and you can see these long wicks on these 2-hour candles, just showing that there is obviously some buying pressure for each of them. So that was our long area yesterday, at 6,150. Unfortunately, it did dip to 6,134 and just tagged the stop. But I know some of you had wider stops, so hopefully you benefited from that rise. Now, later in the day, obviously, we had that short at 6,184, which worked nicely. So anyway, for today, 2-hour chart still bullish and support around about the 6,172 area, with 6,160-ish below that, hence the long plan for today. So the daily chart, if I just make that bigger, RAF channels, the 10-day is now heading up again. So remember earlier this week, the 10-day channel was had leveled off and was dipping slightly. After yesterday's bullish activity, that's heading up again now, and the 20-day, the green channel there, is still firmly up. So as I said, we've got an initial bit of resistance here at this 6,228, and you can just see that dotted line there. If I just zoom in a bit, you can see the red dotted line there. Zoom out a bit. So basically, that's why I was thinking an initial dip down from there, but ultimately pushing higher. So the top of the RAF channels for today, the 10-day is at 6,300. and 6,400 for the 20-day. I don't think we'll see 6,400 today, but you know, 6,300 maybe later if the bulls are really going for it today. So that's 30-minute chart. 10-minute chart, if I just look at that. So short term, so for the next sort of hour or so, we've got our rise up. We're just testing some resistance here at the 6,205 area. Basically, the bulls will need to break that level, that 6,207. Initially, if we're going to push up to the 6,228, we've had a nice little rise just at 7 a.m. there. So, I mean, the 10-minute chart pre-market doesn't really tell you an awful lot, really. That's obviously because it's quite a short time frame is better in market. But it's basically saying expect a little dip. So, however, the 30-minute chart is obviously saying push higher. So I'm inclined to go with that today. So a rise up to 6228 and then a dip down towards the pivot. I think the pivot is going to be a good buying area today for buy the dips and the follow through buying. So thanks for watching. Hope you found that useful. Any questions, as per usual, just drop me an email. Thanks.